All year long I have not done a single unhaul, and so this is going to be unhauling every single book that I've unhauled so far in 2025. I was actually hoping to do this at the end of the year. My plan was just to keep every single book, do a big unhaul at the end of the year, but I'm moving. And there's no point in me taking all of these books with me over there just to unhaul them in 2 months. So we're going to unhaul them now, lesson release them to find better homes, and my new library will just have all the books I love in it. So that's exciting, but definitely need to do a big clean out before I moved into the new library. The funny thing is the new library is actually gonna have way more room. So part of me was like, do I keep all of these? Because I have room for them now. I'm gonna go from like 3 to like 8 to 10. So I'm gonna have some empty shelves for a while. Everyone just told me to keep them, but I was like, do I want to have books that I don't actually want on my shelves just cuz? I don't think so. I'd rather like curate the best shelves, because that's what I've been working hard to do this year, is to really have my shelves be like a trophy shelf, have things that I've loved and things I'm really excited about, not just things that I like bought on a whim. Okay, well, let's just get into it. There's like 80 plus books here. It's gonna be a lot. Let's start at this pile right here that you can't see. The first book I'm going to unhaul is Immortal Consequences. I bought this, was really excited about it, thought it was a 5-star prediction, but sadly ended up not enjoying it. So there's no reason for me to keep it. It does have this really pretty sprayed edge, but I don't think I will continue on in this series, and so I don't need it to sit on my shelves. I'm also unhauling this copy of The Cruel Prince. I actually loved this. This was a 5-star read for me, but I have special editions of it, and I'm just not someone who needs just this. Like, I don't have the rest. Like, I don't have a full set. I just had book 1 in this paperback, but once I read this, I ended up buying really pretty special editions from Fairy Loot, so I'm going to rehome this, send it off to a thrift store or a library, and someone else can read it and experience The Cruel Prince and love it as much as I did. That is where all my books pretty much go. I send them either to a library donation or to a thrift store donation so that people can get them for cheap. Docile by K.M. Sparsa was actually a 5-star read for me way back when. I just find I never reach for this. Do I keep this? Now that I'm sitting here and I'm like, I will have space for it, but I just find that this isn't a book that I recommend to a lot of people. It's not a book that I often talk about. It's very like deep. It's very hard hitting. There's a lot of trigger warnings in this. The tagline is "There's no consent under capitalism." It is a critique on capitalism, and it was a hard read, but it's not something I ever reach for on my shelf. It's not something I think I'll ever reread, so I was planning on unhauling this. The thing is, when I unhauled a lot of these books, I was running out of space, so we might have some reconsiderations in this vlog. I think I might put this off to the side right now to decide in a couple days. I'm not moving into my library yet, so I have some time to think on this. If you see this back on my shelves, say nothing. Deathless Beasts by Andrew D. Meredith. I just don't think I will ever read this, so I'm unhauling it. There's no reason for it to sit on my shelves when I have no interest in reading this anymore. Never Die by Rob J. Hayes. I read this. I actually didn't like it, but I do actually own a special edition of this book as well, so I just thought there was no reason for me to own this for a book I didn't love. I did love the second book in the series, which is why I own the special edition, but I will be unhauling this one for now. The Blood of the Lion. I read this for SBFBO last year, and I did really enjoy it, but it's an 8-book series, and it's been so long since I read this, and I have no want to reread this. I just know I will not continue on in the series, so there's no reason for it to sit on my shelves. That's going to be the reason for a lot of these. Servant of Earth was a 4-star read for me. I actually still love this. I just have a second copy. I accidentally have 2 copies, so this one needs to go. Like, literally same editions. Secrets and Graves and Gold. This was the only book in the series that I owned. I think this is the 3rd or the 4th. I ended up finishing the series and just not loving it and knowing that I would never buy the rest of this series, so I didn't need the 3rd book of a series sitting on my shelf with no other companion book, so I did decide to unhaul this one. I enjoyed this series, but I didn't love it, so I just knew I was never going to purchase them. Bonded by Thorns by Elizabeth Helen. I just have really pretty special editions of this. That's all. I bought this. I love this series. It's one of my favorites. I actually don't love these original covers, so I was really happy that I have the Fairy Loot editions of them, because I do love those, and I'm not someone who needs multiple sets of everything, so this can go and someone else can love it. Dance of Lies. This is an ARC that I received, so I'm actually not sure what I can do with this. I'm gonna have to do some research because obviously you can't sell it, so I don't know if it can go to like a thrift store. I DNF'd this. I did not love it. I'm so thankful to be sent ARCs and stuff, but I just couldn't fall in love with this book. I was not enjoying it, so I'm unhauling it. I don't know where it's going yet. The Raven Scholar. I also DNF'd this one. I am so mad about this book because I did not buy it. I was listening to the audiobook. I read the first like 30 pages, 40 pages, was like, this is a 5-star. I absolutely fell in love with that prologue, went and bought the book, and then ended up DNFing the book because there is a narrator change and I didn't like where the direction of the story went. I just loved that prologue so freaking much. So it's so annoying that I was trying to be good. I was trying to read first, buy afterwards, but then I thought I was going to love love it, so I bought it. But it happens. Horror Store, I actually think you've seen in other unhauls. I always unhaul it and then end up keeping it just because it's so unique and I think it looks so pretty. But it's such a weird shape on my bookshelves. I really just need to get rid of it because I think every time I start to unhaul, it ends up coming off my shelves. It's like one of the first things because I didn't love this book either, and I don't know. I need to stop taking it out of my unhauls and putting it sneakily back on my shelf. Does anyone else do that? Because sometimes I do that. We can do all these three at the same time. These are my Mark Lawrence mass market paperbacks. I own this one in hardcover now, so I don't need this mass market paperback. I don't really like mass markets anyways. And then I also owned these two. I am actually somewhere in this pile have special editions of these that I'm unhauling. I ended up not liking the series, so I do not need all these editions of it. I should have organized these stacks a little bit better because the next one on the stack is Flawless by Elsie Silver. I think there's 3 other Elsie Silvers somewhere in here. I have read these and learned that I didn't enjoy Elsie Silver. I think 1 is unread technically, but I've tried 3 of her stories and I just don't think I need to keep them. I don't end up loving them. They all end up just being 3 stars. They're not my type of contemporary romance in the end, so I just need to bless and release and have more room on my shelves, even though I'm gonna have so much room. It feels so weird because normally like I'm unhauling, I need space and I'm not gonna have that issue, but I just don't want to keep things I didn't love. Like there's no reason for that for me. I've been trying to be better this year about buying things after I've read them, but sometimes I've still slipped, and also a lot of these are still previous year's books that have been sitting on my shelf for a very, very long time. We're working on it. I'm hoping that the new shelves don't make me just buy a bunch of things because that's not what I want. I want to be very picky with my shelves. I think I've done that this year. This unhaul does not feel that way as I look at it. So many of the ones that I haven't read that I'm unhauling, I have no interest in anymore, or I've read them and I didn't like them, but I bought them thinking I would like them. I'm really trying to read first, buy after now. This one is Between Life and Death by Jacqueline Cott. I read this, DNF'd it. This has been sitting on my shelf for like 3 years, so I'm really happy I finally got to it, but I did not like it, so I'm unhauling it. Soon by Lois Murphy is something I bought a long time ago. This was one of the first horror books I bought to sit on my bookshelves. I didn't read this. I want to say Lexi read it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just saw some reviews that didn't seem that good. I think I bought this right after I read Bird Box and I was trying to like get that vibe again, but I haven't heard the best recommendations, so I am unhauling this. It sat on my shelf for so long, and I find that horror books either sit on my shelves for far too long or don't sit at all, and if they've sat on my shelf for far too long, I'm probably not ever going to pick this up unless I hear things about it, and since I haven't heard great things, what are the chances? Griever's Blood, I happen to have 2 editions. I was sent an edition of this by Orbit, so thank you so much to Orbit, but I had actually already purchased an edition, so I just didn't need 2 copies, so we're unhauling it. The One by John Mars, I read this, I enjoyed it, didn't love it, don't need it to sit on my shelves. Oh yes, another Elsie Silver. We've already talked about Elsie Silver. This can go. Oh, these 2 are part of a series. The Sun Surge Quartet, book 1 and book 2. I bought these one time just at a bookstore. I think, if I'm being honest, back in the day, consumerism got me, and I used to really need filler videos, and so I would do come book shopping with me videos. There's a reason you don't see those very often on my channel, and I'd always feel obligated to like buy a decent amount of stuff for those videos, and so I would tend to go when I had like discounts or stuff. But I think I just bought these because I liked the covers, and I bought them in a come book shopping video with me. I don't do those anymore. I don't record filler videos anymore. Like anything on my channel is really something I really, really loved and thought about. I don't just do things like this anymore. So if you see a come book shopping video with me, it's because I wanted specific things. I didn't just go in to browse and make a video, but it is something I did at the start of my channel. They always did really well. They performed really well, and so I think that was part of the problem, but I chase the algorithm, I think, a lot less now, and I'm a lot more proud of my content than I was at the beginning, just being honest here. And so these have sat on my shelves for so long. They sit on the bottom shelf, which is where I call Where Books Go to Die. I don't think I will ever read these. I don't know what they're about. I actually believe there's a series I'm supposed to read before I read these that I didn't know about because I just like impromptu bought these, so I'm going to unhaul them. Crescent Kingdom by Tessa Hale. I did receive this in a PR box, but I have a special edition that came in that box, and I also have an ebook. I think I'll read the ebook, and I just don't need multiple copies of books, so I'm unhauling this one and I'm keeping the really pretty special edition. I think I might send this to Mel because I don't think she has a copy, and she really did enjoy this, so I think I might send it to her. Another Elsie Silver. I really should have organized this. We talked about her. I'm really breaking a lot of people's hearts with this, but my Alberta roots did not like the Alberta humor. It was too close close to home. This is another one that I think I unhauled because I was out of space, and I'm kind of reconsidering. I actually gave this 5 stars. It's called There's No Way I Die First. I just never gravitate towards it. I never am showing it off. I'm never really recommending it because I feel like I'm the only person that ever liked this story. So I put it in the unhaul, but like I'm now second guessing because I'm about to have a lot of space. If you see this back on my shelf, don't say anything either. I'm gonna put it in the same pile as Docile, just in case. I'm gonna think on it. Broken Souls and Bones by LJ Andrews. Somewhere in this pile, I also have the Fairy Loot edition. I DNF'd this book. I tried it, did not love it. I happen to have multiple editions of it. I thought I was going to love it because I love The Everking by the same author, but it did not work for me. So I'm unhauling this, and when we get to the special edition, I will also be unhauling that one. Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes. I gave this 3 stars. I don't feel like there's a reason to keep it. I enjoyed it enough, but it's not something I'm going to be shouting about or recommending, so it does not need to sit on my shelves either. Bury Your Gaze is kind of same. I gave this 3 stars. I liked it enough, but it's not something that I want to keep, as I'm trying to really prioritize like those 4s and those 5 stars, or like the 3 stars that really impact me. I'm trying to really prioritize having books I've loved, like having you see my personality, my reading journey, all the little book series I've fallen in love with on my shelves, and I've started to think they're gorgeous because of that. I used to struggle and be like, I don't like the way my bookshelves look, and I feel like it's because I just had so many filler books on it, and that's something I don't do anymore. I just think that it just looks so much more pretty, as it just reflects me and my reading so much more. Oh, we can also, the next book is Camp Damascus, also by Chuck Tingle. Same. I gave it 3 stars. I didn't love it. I thought they were enjoyable enough, but it's not something that I'm shouting about constantly. A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of Frost and Starlight. I just ended up buying special editions of these that I like a lot more. I have never really been a fan of these like bright neon covers. I think they're really ugly, to be honest, but I have them, and now I don't because I have really stunning special editions. Terror at the Gates by Scarlett St. Clair. I think I actually also might be sending this to Mel because I don't think she has an edition, and I think she said she wanted one. I gave this 3 stars. I liked it. I think I will continue on in the series, but it's not something I feel like I need to own because I just like didn't love it, so I will be unhauling this one as well. Twilight of Embers by Tessa Hale. I binge read this entire series, and I did it all on ebook, and I only owned the first one, and after reading it, I really did enjoy it. I had a lot of fun binging it, but it's not a series I feel the need to own, so I know I will never buy the sequels in this, so I will also be unhauling this one. Soulkeeper by David Deglish. I have found that I really prefer fantasy written by women. There are some fantasy written by men that I still really fuck with, but this one has not been one that I think I'm going to. I think I read the first chapter once upon a time. I think that there are elements that I could have liked, but I don't think it'll be a new favorite, and I think I would just like to unhaul it. Upon a Burning Throne. I was really interested in this because it's inspired by Indian mythology, and I thought that would be really cool, but it was supposed to be a really long series, and then they cut it down to a trilogy due to not having enough interest, which really sucks that I'm unhauling it, but it was made like halfway through, and I just can't see how things would be wrapped up that nicely and stuff like that, so I've decided to unhaul this. Tethered Spirits and its sequel, Revenant Prince. I read these for the competition SBFBO one year. Well, I read this one. I haven't actually read this one. I ended up DNFing this one in an episode of Reader DNF. It felt a little too YA for me and stuff, and I was never going to continue on, so I'm unhauling these. A Broken Blade has been sitting on my shelf for a really long time. Again, I bought this in a come book shopping with me video, and since then I have not heard great things about it. I really trust some people who have told me their thoughts on this, and I just don't think it's going to be for me. Kagan the Damned. I just have no interest in this. I bought it because a friend liked it, but I think since then I've really learned a little bit more about my fantasy taste, and I don't think this is for me. Tad Williams, The Dragonbone Chair. You'll see some of this come up in this little unhaul that at one point I wanted to read all the classics. I wanted to read the ones that like made fantasy what it was and understand the inspiration, but I quickly realized I don't like them. I like a lot more of a modern fantasy. These are just like slow, quest driven. They're a little bit too slow for me, a little too long, and I just know that I will not like this, so I am unhauling it. I have learned from my past mistakes, and I have no time to read books that I'm not going to like. I think some people really think that you should unhaul without reading. I'm not one of those people, especially if it will help me better love my bookshelves and better love my life. I obviously try to read them, but if I'm not interested, if it's just gonna sit on my shelves for another 4 years, it's just taking up space that I don't want it to. We have Riftborn by Greenwich and Lennox. I read this all. I gave it 3 stars or 2 stars. I don't even remember. This entire book has left my brain. I have no interest in continuing, so I'm unhauling. To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Polini. I actually did like this. I read it once upon a time. I don't really read sci-fi anymore. I don't really have a sci-fi shelf, and it's just not something I gravitated towards. So I just wanted to unhaul it. I just didn't feel like it needed to be on my shelf. I think I gave it 3 stars. Fear the Flames, this is the indie copy, and I think that if I end up picking up the second book in this series, I give this 3 stars. I will repurchase this because it'll be the traditional published copy, and I would want my covers and the vibes and everything to match. It also has the really, really stark white that I hate, and so not that I need to unhaul a book just because of that, but it was just like an added thing that I was like, I also don't like this, and I already want to unhaul it. Master of the Void kind of hurts to unhaul. This was my finalist the first year I was a judge for SBFBO. I really did enjoy this, but I have not picked up the sequel. I've had no interest in picking up the sequel. It's a chunky boy, and I'm just out of this moment in my life, and I don't know. I think I just want to unhaul it. So Bloodsong by Anthony Ryan. I read this. I liked it. I have no plans on continuing on in the series because I didn't like it enough. Gardens of the Moon, a classic that I wanted to read. Turns out, not for me. Unhauling. Green Rider, I really did want to read until I learned that it's a really big travel story. I really hate travel stories, and I think that's why classic fantasy doesn't work for me, because it just is a lot of traveling, a lot of quests, not my type of story. So I just know that I won't like this, and it's a really long series. Bless and Release. These 2 are technically being unhauled from my library into my parents' library. The Time Patrol and The Martian. Sci-fi's not for me. I DNF'd The Martian, but I liked the movie. And this one, I just have a feeling I won't like, but I will be giving them to my parents who do like them. Peace and Turmoil by Elliot Brooks. I started this for a dragon vlog way back in the day, and it was too dense for me. I DNF'd it. I always said I would come back to it, but I have decided I don't want to come back to it. So, unhauling. A Crown of Ivy and Glass by Claire Legrand. I just have not heard the best things from people I trust, and I've had no interest in reading it, so it can leave. Winds of Strife by Yuji Gutman is a story I really, really loved, but there has been no progress on a sequel, and I read it like 5 years ago when it came out. I've heard nothing, and it really bothers me when I don't get to complete something. It really, really bothers me, and I don't want this on my shelf to bother me forever. The Rise of the West by Gregory Contaxis. I just ended up with a second edition of this. It got lost in the mail, and then he had to resend it to me because the author kindly sent this to me, and then both showed up, and now I have 2, so we're unhauling one. Fantastic Land. I don't have any interest in reading this. I think I bought this to read for a specific prompt in a reading challenge. I don't do that anymore either. I just change the prompts because I don't want this to happen. I don't want to read it. If I do, I would read the audio anyways, so unhauling. The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I actually loved this, gave this 5 stars, but I have these editions right here, and I have the Illumicrate editions coming. This is the last cover. It got like a redone cover when it was re-edited, so I'm unhauling this because I don't need this one book cover to sit on my shelf. Phased by Victoria Tekken. I just have no interest in this. That's all. Beacon 23 by Hugh Howey. Another one that I think I'm just unhauling to my parents. I DNF'd this. It really just reminded me of Project Hail Mary, and not as good. And I didn't even love Project Hail Mary. I know that's blasphemy, but unhauling. Spirits of Vengeance by Rob J. Hayes. I DNF'd this. This is the 3rd book in the same series as Never Die, which I also unhauled. It was like one of the first books. I just really liked the 2nd book in this series, so I actually am keeping the 2nd book, Pawn's Gambit, but I decided to get rid of the 1st and 3rd. They are like standalone companion novels, so it doesn't bother me to only keep one because they're not like a series you have to read in order, but I really loved book 2 and I didn't like book 1 or 3. The Lost War, I just have no interest in reading. The Darkness Before Them, I could be convinced into keeping because I have liked Matthew Ward before. I do have an ebook, like I have a NetGalley ARC still of this even though this came out so long ago. I just had heard from people that they didn't think I was going to love it. Do I add this to my pile of like, I'm not sure. Maybe. I can't commit currently. A Fate Inked in Blood by Daniel L. Jensen. I read the 2nd book and I DNF'd it. I liked the 1st, but the 2nd just didn't work for me, and I don't need book 1 of a series that I ended up DNFing on my shelves. Ooh, more classics. The Lord of the Rings. My sister and her roommate and me had a little book club where we tried to read these. I read The Hobbit, the 1st one, and then never made it past into the 2nd one, and I do not need to own these considering I thought they were really boring and I didn't like them. And that is a hot take probably, but they no longer need to sit on my shelf. I just thought I needed them to sit there because like I'm a fantasy reader, but you don't have to like the classics to be a fantasy reader. Preach. I feel like people try to say that you do. You don't. You can like whatever you like. You don't have to feel justified by what other people like. I don't know if that made any sense. And then those Mark Lawrence editions that I was talking about. I really liked the 1st book in the series and I just didn't like the 2nd that much, and then I DNF'd the 3rd. And honestly, as they came out with the editions, I don't really like them. So editions I don't like and a series I didn't love can go bye-bye. I just at one point wanted all of Mark Lawrence's hardcovers. Oh, my cat, I think, ruined this one a little bit. Oops. Yep, that's a cat mark. Cats and special editions don't go well together. Okay, we have a lot of special editions coming up. This is the last part of this unhaul. Let me just grab all the editions from one book box. These 4 editions that I'm unhauling, they belonged to Fabled Book Box. That's where I got them from. I had the worst experience with Fabled Book Box. They had the worst customer service. I talked about it on Instagram. I ended up getting an apology from the CEO because their customer service was so rude to me and was saying I was lying, and I had proof that I wasn't, and they were still saying that I was lying. They told me I was a shitty person, I was scamming the company, and I was like, what the fuck do you mean? This book has fucked up binding, and I just wanted either money offer or replacement or something for the binding that was fucked up in it. After I had spent 9 months of books. I've bought 9 special editions. I'm keeping some of them, but all of these I had no want to read in the end. I had heard so things about them, and then once the book box was rude to me, I decided I didn't want to even attempt them. So I had them in my unhaul pile. And then on top of that, they actually got even more sketchy and so much more stuff has come out of them. They have shut down as of now, but if you feel like deep diving on threads, there's a lot of stuff about them. I would not support them or anything that company does in the future personally. That is my own prerogative, and I don't want these. These are from Arcane. This was when I signed up, the one I had to get, and when you sign up for a book box, you can't skip the first time they offer it to you. So I accepted, even though I didn't think that these were going to be for me because I didn't want to sit on the wait list for another 2 years. I read them. I actually gave both books a try. I gave this one 2 stars, and then I still tried this one. They aren't for me. These are one of the most stunning editions. I love Arcane's editions, so I do not regret signing up and getting these. I think they were so worth it. They have some of the prettiest editions in my opinion, and they feel like good quality, but I'm unhauling these. I didn't like them. My cat chewed the corner of this. I don't know if you can see this. That's from Miley. Cats can't be trusted. Okay, these are all, oh my god, they also did this one. That's actually so savage. I don't even know how I didn't even notice that. When was she doing this? That's so annoying. I hate cats. I love cats. I love them very much. These are all Fairy Loot editions. I have a video on my channel called Unsubscribe from My Wallet Am I Breaking Up with Fairy Loot, where I talk about the reason I'm unhauling all of these. Either I read them, didn't love them, or I DNF'd them in that video, and so if you want to hear more about my thoughts on there, I will leave that video down below. And then these 2 are more recent, Broken Souls and Bones, which I talked about earlier that I DNF'd and didn't like, so we unhauled. And then Iron and Embers, I read the second book and I DNF'd it, so I don't need this edition because I will not be buying a matching edition for it, so I am unhauling. And then the last book that somehow made it into the special edition pile, but it's actually not, is Bloodguard. This is just a first edition, and I heard nothing good about this book, so I bought it and pretty much automatically unhauled it because everyone I knew was reading it and didn't like it, and now I have no interest in reading it, and I regret purchasing it. That is my massive unhaul. I only debated 3. I think that's pretty good considering I'm about to have so much space. Only bringing 3 back potentially feels pretty good. Do you unhaul without reading? Let me know in the comments down below. I know it's kind of controversial. There's mixed opinions on it. I will leave that Fairy Loot video on the screen for you, and then the video I'm most proud of making so far this year. And if you'd like to leave me an emoji just to say you were here, leave me a book emoji of some sort. Let's keep it classic and have yourselves an absolutely remarkable day.